All right, guys, welcome to Get Real LOL News. I'm here with Sabrina Kennedy from MTV's The Real World. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Doing great. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. We're so excited to have you.
Of course.
So, the first question I always start everyone with, because I think it's just an interesting question, is how did you even get started with auditioning for The Real World and eventually getting on the show? What made you
I
decide to do
started
that?
I started auditioning for the real world because I'm a singer, a singer-songwriter, and I had very influential people looking at my music, but I needed more of a fan base. And aside from the local Boston scene, and so I saw that the auditions were in Boston, and I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. I have an outgoing personality. I think I can handle it, and you know what? If it does what I want it to for my music, then let's
Yeah.
just give it a try. I kind of just jumped into it, to be honest.
That's super cool. I think it's a really cool season with the whole go big or go home scenario. Now, what was your thoughts when you found out that was the case?
When I showed up the first day and realized that I was jumping out of a hot air balloon and that if I don't do these missions, I'm going home, that really changes the game for you. It put a lot of pressure on all of us, especially myself. I mean, I love to do physical activities, but by no means are missions my thing, especially when I found out we all had our own personal missions. So the fact that your position in this show is on the line, that was so scary for me.
Oh, okay. I think, yeah, I think it would be hard. Like the hot air balloon one kind of freaked me out because I'm afraid of heights. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. Me too.
Um, so we have a couple different questions that are coming through. So the first one I'm just gonna go with. It says, "What is your next move after the real world? Do you have more passions you want to explore?" So obviously you said singing.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
The main passion that I definitely want to explore is singing, if not my acting. But I would love to do my singing. It's what I want to be doing. I want my music to preach different messages to people, and if not, I believe the universe will send me somewhere and I'll be
Yeah.
okay, but I definitely want to be doing my music.
That's awesome. So you were saying how you just released an EP, or you're working on it, I should say.
Yes, it will be released in a
Yeah.
month, but I released my first single off the EP.
Yes. So how is the whole process for that, like the recording process, writing process, etc., going for you then?
It took almost a year and a half for I wanted to do a longer album, but I would rather have a record deal to be doing a longer album, so I'm just doing a 3-song EP to get my name out there and to cut down the couple of songs that I've written down to 3 solid songs. It took almost
Okay.
a year and a half between recording, doing the music video, releasing the singles, doing the promotion. It took a year and a half, and most albums take up to 2 to 3 years to
Oh
do,
wow,
depending on how hard you're working.
that's
So,
crazy.
mm,
Now, you said that all of your songs on the EP have to do with a charity that you support, correct?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit about that. How did that come about?
So my first song is called If Only, and I suffered deeply from depression at a time, and I linked up with this charity called Dear Hope, and it's
Okay.
a movement regarding mental health awareness. And I just think in my music, I want to be talking about real life issues. I praise other artists for talking about things like boys and all that, but I want to be talking about something that's real to me.
Yeah.
And this was a moment in my life where I was not confident. I did not like who I was becoming. And if only is just saying, if only certain people had accepted me for who I am, but if only I accept me for me. And it just
Okay.
goes to show you are loved and there are people around you there to support you. But Dear Hope, the creators of that, they did my music video. And so we teamed up to create a movement. So,
That's awesome. I think that's super cool.
yes,
Yeah, I think it's cool that you're doing something that's a little bit more than just yourself and what you want to write about too.
exactly.
Um, so it's someone says, can you talk a little bit about trying to find your birth mother and how you found out you were adopted?
Yes. So my mission, as you all know, was to find my biological birth mother, and they hired an investigator, obviously. So that's what I have been going through the whole season and what I went through filming. And I found out I was adopted when I was 12. My adoptive parents wanted to wait just so I mean, I guess you kind of forget that I'm adopted. I forget I'm adopted because my adoptive parents are my parents.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of the viewers are confused with. They wonder why I call them Linda and Tom and not mom and dad. And it's only because I'm trying to differentiate between bio mom, mom, bio dad, dad. But my real parents are the parents who raised me. And it was very hard finding out when I was 12. And it was very hard finding out on the show that my personal mission was to find my biological mother. It was definitely one of the harder missions that anyone received up until this point of watching. So
Yeah, I thought that was what, the first or second? I don't know. That was just like right at the beginning. Yeah. So as soon as they said that, I was just like, oh my goodness. I felt my heart broke a little bit for you because I was like, is that a good thing for her, or is that like, because it's just one of those things you don't really think about until you're put in that situation.
It is, and it's very hard when you're doing it on national television.
Yeah, very
I
true.
mean, I the opportunity is amazing, but I mean, when you're in that situation and just thrown into it, and if you don't complete the mission, you go home,
Yeah.
it gets a lot of emotions going.
Now, we haven't seen too much with how that all pans out yet. We've seen you meet with the investigator, which was kind of cool. I don't remember. Did he tell you any information on that episode about your biological
No,
mom?
he
Okay.
is going. It's going to. Don't worry. It's going to play out, and they're going to be talking about it a lot. So
Awesome.
we're getting my time with that whole mission. It's going to be
Yeah.
a very huge storyline and a very huge part of my growth throughout this process.
Well, good. I know everyone's like just excited to see what happens. I feel like everyone's just kind of like, is this going to be a good thing for her, or is it going to be a bad thing?
Exactly.
Because it's scary. I would feel
It
like.
is.
I think
It's,
especially at 12. Because I couldn't imagine at 12 your whole world's flipped upside down and you're already like going through puberty.
yeah, I was just going to say you're going through puberty and everything's kind of weird. It's middle school age, and middle school is the most awkward time ever. I don't care what
Yeah.
anyone says, it's just so awkward. And it's something that at the time, I was very upset about, but now looking back, my adoptive parents have given me everything, so I really cannot. I thank them
Yeah.
because it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely awesome. Um, so on a lighter note, but still on real world topic, someone had asked, did you ever use the hoverboards that they gave you guys in the house? We never seen you on them really too much yet.
No, I don't use the hoverboards, one, because the first time I used them, I fell on my face. And second reason is I've broken my collarbone multiple times in the result of doing stupid stuff like that. So, and then we all saw on the plunge mission how injured I was.
Yeah.
I just decided to steer clear.
Oh,
Steer
okay.
clear. Yes.
So then,
I just,
in the same question, they said, who rode those hoverboards the most, and did anyone have any big wipeouts from them?
oh, they all did. Besides, Dion and Dean rode them the most, but
Yeah.
I would have to say Kayla wiped out a couple times.
That's crazy. Now, who were you personally closest to in the house? Because right now you're kind of on the show. We see you kind of interacting with everyone.
Yes. I've always been kind of the mediator, the peacemaker in a way, and I would have to say now, I mean, I was definitely close with Kayla on the show, but I'm definitely closer with her now. I would say she's my best friend from the show. I
Uh,
also stay in touch a lot with Chris, and CJ's my roommate, so she has my back all the time. But I mean, I talk to everyone on the cast now, but I would have to say in the house, I was closest with Kayla, CJ, and Chris.
okay, very cool. I think I was watching just the other day, and it was the leak episode, so last week, I guess, or 2 weeks ago. And I thought it was so funny because you were the one sticking up for everyone. You were like, no, none of my roommates did this. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she probably feels so naive after watching her say that to
Yeah.
herself.
No, I do because, I mean,
But you
I
don't
will.
see what's happening either.
Yeah, I have such a big heart, so it's such a
Yeah.
blessing and a curse. And so to think that one of my roommates would have done that, it, because in the beginning you think, well, you know what, let me see the good in everyone. And to think that one of the roommates would do that, it would just be a bad reflection on my character. But I'm very naive. Like I think everyone's good. I'm building a thicker skin and I'm learning. So,
That's
But no,
awesome.
it was a little embarrassing to watch myself. I was like, how did you not see that?
I
So,
thought it was so funny though. I was like, you can tell she's just a good person because she's like thinking the best of everyone else.
exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. Kyle Clegg wants to know. He says, "What is your favorite Prince song, and can you sing a couple lines?"
Oh my goodness. Um, my favorite Prince song. Well, definitely Purple Rain, but I was never ever into Prince. I'm very into, it's actually funny, I'm into like old school, like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. I'm into pop
Oh,
and rap. I was never really a fan of Prince, but I honor his art. I
yeah,
honor.
that's very cool. So you're a rap fan. You just said, correct?
I am. I'm all genres. I listen to country, I listen to folk. I mean, I'm a musician, so I love to
Yeah.
hear other people's forms of art. I would definitely have to say I just recently got into rap, and
Oh.
I've really been liking. I've had Future's album on repeat for a couple days. So I mean, it just all depends. But I definitely would say like I love Stevie Nicks. Like I'm all over the place when it comes to music.
That's not a bad thing. That's a
No.
good thing. So how did you get started in the singing career?
Oh my goodness. It started at a young age. I've always been so confident and so outgoing that I always wanted to be on stage. I was 3 years old, and my mother would tell me that I would be walking around with my cassette player listening to the Disney songs and singing them. And then
Oh.
when I turned 5 and they realized that, wait, she can like actually hold a tune, they put me into a theater group, and it was just I was getting all the lead roles. I was Dorothy. I was getting all these lead roles, and then it was something that I really decided this is my passion, and it's what I want to be doing regardless of how crazy it sounds.
Yeah.
Because I'm in college. I will have a degree in May, so it's not really the normal job.
Oh, okay. What is your degree going to be in?
Communications with a minor in film and zoology.
Oh, okay. Very cool. A fan question just came in. It says, "What or how long have you been modeling? Do you model?"
I actually don't model, but all of the
Okay.
photographs that I have on Instagram that look like modeling pictures, those are for my music. So my website,
Oh.
they're for I do shoots for every song that I do. So
Okay.
each shoot that you've seen recently, say on Instagram, has been for the song If Only. Or I
Oh,
just like to put out professional shots, and I would love to model. I'm only 5'2",
okay.
but I would love to do it, but I'm too short, one, and two, I do it for my music. So I like to
Yeah.
do different shots. I love art, so that's what I
You could
do the modeling for.
you could always go on America's Next Top Model. They got rid of that height limit.
This is true. This is true.
I saw that last season. I thought that was cool. Um, James Nixon wants to know if you're single. There's a
Yes,
question.
I am single. I don't have much time for a boyfriend, and if I were to find someone, I'm not settling unless they treat me absolutely amazing. So yes, I'm single.
So, no, okay, on the single topic, probably a weird question, but we see in the real world you kind of were super interested in Dion for a while. Dion,
Yes,
how do you say? Is that how you say it? Dion? Dion?
Dion. Yes.
Dion. I always have. I feel like you have to like add an accent on there a little bit to say it
Yes.
properly. Um, now we have. I don't think. No, we didn't see you guys hook up at all. Was there ever anything more between you two since him and Kayla were kind of hooking up on and off? Not really, just a couple times, but
No, there wasn't. I think it was more of I went into the process not insecure, but
mm,
wanting people to like me. And I think with Dion, we have the same personality.
yeah.
And there's something about Dion that you find his personality very attractive. And the
Mm,
first week, I was very gun ho about it, as you saw in like the second episode. And then after that, it simmered away because I realized that Dion is a wild jungle boy, and
yes.
he's more of my brother figure. Like he visits me all the time at school, and we're good friends, but he is strictly brother figure now.
Oh,
We look
that's
back on it and laugh, and I'm like, ew, I can't believe I ever wanted to hook up with you. And he
so
was like, I
funny.
know, gross. I'm like, "Oh."
Okay, so besides Dion, then, if you had to hook up with one guy or girl in the house, who would it be?
Hmm. I would have to say CJ. She's a badass. I
I
am
love CJ.
straight, but if I had to pick someone, it'd be CJ.
No Dean? No Dean in that mix?
Dean is adorable.
Or Chris. I
Dean
like
is
Chris
so
too.
sexy. Dean is so sexy. And Chris is just like Chris is my other half. Like he
Oh,
my other half in male form. Um Chris is actually definitely the best kisser. I'll give him that much. As you can see, we did spin the bottle. So
yeah.
definitely Chris is the best kisser. Um but yeah, I would have to say CJ. But
That's awesome.
CJ kept it real. She didn't make out with anyone, so she's a mystery. There's a mystery there.
I know. I told her she needed to hook up with someone. That would have been great.
Yeah.
Um, the next question says, were you hoping your real world experience would have been more like the past shows, or do you wish it would have been something even wilder than what you experienced? Or did you just like how it was?
I honestly did not watch The Real World until I was very deep into the interview process. And I said, well, maybe I should start looking at this show that I'm interviewing for. And I do wish it was like the older seasons, like in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
where I feel like it was a little more, they were more activists for certain things. Um, I believe it felt more real in a way, but I
Yeah.
would not change anything about this season because it made me grow as a person. And I wouldn't have grown if I wasn't told you'll go home if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It makes you like realize that all you have is yourself. And if I was just living in a house with however many strangers, I don't think I would have grown as much as a person.
I can see that. I think it's a interesting concept this season. What was
Yes.
your personal favorite challenge that we've seen so far? Obviously.
That we've seen so far, I would honestly have to say the spiders. I
Oh,
I am
why?
not a fan of spiders, but they're just so fascinating and I got to hold them and everyone was saying to me, "How did you do that?" And honestly, I don't know. I love animals, but I've always had this stigma against insects. And I honestly really I loved holding the spiders. I thought it was so cool that we all did that. That was one of my favorites, to be honest. I hated plunge. I will never do that again. I'll never do
Yeah,
that again.
I thought that was a interesting challenge, the spiders. Except for the only part I didn't like about it, it was crawling in like someone's hair. I think it was Chris's hair.
Yes.
I didn't like that part. That would freak
Yeah.
me out. um, someone says, "Were you shocked that Jenna did the spider challenge?"
To be honest, yes and no. Jenna is the type, she showed no fear throughout all the missions you've seen so far.
Yeah,
She's a very tough cookie. So the fact that a spider could bother her,
yeah,
she was definitely, I mean, as you guys saw in that episode, she was definitely like contemplating going home. And for all of us in the house, that was really scary because we see this really tough girl who like never lets anything bother her. And it just
hmm,
goes to show how much fear can make you like go crazy. Like you don't want to do
yeah,
something. So I was actually shocked that she was that scared. But I
yeah,
knew she wasn't going to let any of us bring her down and not do that spider mission.
yeah. I thought that I don't know. I just think it shows like when someone's afraid how awesome they are when they just suck it up and deal with it.
Hmm.
Now in the plunge challenge, when you guys had to basically deliberate and decide if you were going to send Jenna home or not, we see the deliberation, but we don't really get to hear your guys' conversation. Did any of you guys contemplate sending Jenna home?
We did. And I think it was something, as you all can see throughout this whole process, Jenna just thinks differently than us. And
Yeah.
the fact that, and I won't just say us, I'll say like we all have our own opinions on various things, but
Yes.
I want to say that she's not so much sheltered, but she was from a different part of the country where she wasn't taught certain things that progressive United States young individuals are learning, especially in school. I've learned most of that in college. And I just think we were all to the point where we were 50-50 on sending her home. And in the back of our minds, most of us wanted to. But I think being the good people that most of us are, we said, you know what, maybe we can change her.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give her our views. Like, I don't want to spit views on her, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it was definitely 50-50, and I think everyone in the back of their mind was like, why didn't we send her home after the fact? But, I mean, it is what it is now.
I liked the way Dion said it. He said that it wasn't his job to take that away from her, basically, because she was picked.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was none of our jobs, and if anyone deserved it, she did, to try and figure it out and learn more about herself.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, as the season goes on, we'll see her change. Maybe not change, but just kind of understand a little bit more of everything. So the next question says, did you write a rap about the real world?
No, but I'm actually in the process of writing a song about my experience. So that will be continued.
Now, is that going to be about your experience overall on the show, or just about your biological mother experience? Or
I believe overall, definitely overall. Okay. I could write about 4 or 5 songs about the real world, so stay tuned, everyone.
That's awesome. Now, back to your music for a minute. Do you write all of your own songs by yourself, or do you co-write?
So I'm big into, I have all these deep ideas, and it's very hard for me to get it onto paper, so I do co-write. Okay. I usually try to write on my own, but I love to have the help of others. So I'll usually co-write with one other person, just so it keeps it intimate, and it's still my song.
That's very cool. I think I would not be a good writer because I just have too many thoughts in my head. I would just write down random.
Just keep going.
Yeah. So, what was it? Oh, speaking of the real world again, because someone else just posted a question. Did you ever get stuck in the middle of when the leak was happening between Chris and Jenna and that whole situation? We didn't see you get involved too much.
Yes, I wasn't involved too much, but I was upset at the fact because I didn't know how to react to the situation. Yeah. Because being the good person I am, I felt bad for Jenna, but at the same time, everything that was said in the leak, she's already said on national television.
Yeah.
So it's been aired, and at the time, I kind of knew it would be aired. I felt it. So I did feel bad for her because I felt as if it was bullying. But then at the same time, Chris had been there for me for so long that I saw his frustration because of what he went through the church. So it definitely put me in a very difficult position, and the rest of the roommates who weren't really involved, like you don't really see CJ much or Dean, and Dion kind of stays out of it. So it definitely put us in a very hard predicament of where our alliances lie.
Yeah, I can see that. Erin wants to know, did you guys resent that a lot of your guys' time became about Jenna and her issues, or do you feel that was the case? She says it seems like it sucked up other people's experiences and maybe took away time that you guys could have been getting to know each other.
I agree with Erin. I definitely, every night was a fight about race, religion, coming up because of something Jenna had said or something that she might have said but not meant it, and Chris got mad at her, or Kayla, or she'd even say things that got me mad. And I'm not a confrontational person. I am not rude, and I don't like to fight with someone. You have your opinions, I have my own. Yeah. But it just became something that was constantly talked about, and it ruined part of my experience because all I had surrounding me was fighting over the same issue that we were trying to penetrate through her head, and it's just not going through. Yeah. So yes, it did take away from my time.
So it's kind of just like beating a dead horse.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I could see that. It seems like a frustrating. I don't know, just from the conversations we've seen so far. Like I said, yeah. I'm really praying that later this season we see a little bit of resolve, at least a little bit.
Exactly.
Andrew wants to know, if you could create a future real world twist, what would it be?
Ooh, a future real world twist.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I wouldn't want a twist. What no? I would say go back to, they've already done everything, I feel like. I don't know what more they could do. True. They've done skeletons, they've done Go Big or Go Home. I mean, what more can you do that you can twist this? I would have to say get it back to the old real world. Get it back to just 7 kids living in a house and seeing what they talk about.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that would be cool as well. I like mixing it up a little bit. Maybe a twist every couple years.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I had a question in my head and it just totally went out. Oh, okay, I got it. Speaking of real world, since you've already done this real world, which is kind of like a mini challenge, would you ever go on to do the actual challenge? Have you seen the challenge?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I would absolutely do it. I at first I said no, like I'm not into that, but especially with the rise of my following and what it could do for my music, I would definitely go on the challenge.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think it would be like a, I don't know. I don't know which challenge I'd want to see you on though. Would you rather do like a team challenge, a single challenge, an X's challenge?
I think an
What
X's
format?
challenge. I think an X's challenge would be hilarious.
You need to make an X first.
Oh, I have an ex. He was interviewed for the show. He's on
Oh.
my bad list.
Oh, okay. I was thinking X is like someone from the MTV platform
The
already.
MTV show.
Yeah.
No.
Um, I think that would be cool. Maybe that should be
Yeah.
what you do next is try to get on a
Exactly.
challenge.
Yes. I fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Now, if you have you gotten to meet anyone else from the real world or the challenge or any of those shows?
Yes, I have met. Who have I met? I met one girl, Ashley, from the Cancun season, I want to say.
Yes.
I
Yes.
met her at a radio station in Boston, but other than that, I have not met any of them. I've chatted with a few of them, but I have not met anyone.
Oh, okay. And then you did go to the MTV Movie Awards, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. What was that experience like for you? And then who were we missing on there? We were missing someone in that picture. I thought it was you, but now I can't remember who it was.
Yes, so we were missing Jenna in the picture.
Okay.
Um, I had dyed my hair back to black brown, my original
Yeah.
color, because I didn't like the blonde.
Oh,
Um, that experience was absolutely amazing. I definitely don't want that to be my last red carpet,
yeah.
and I definitely want to be back on that carpet for my music.
That would be
And
awesome.
I hope that works out. But that experience is something that you dream of, and that is
Yeah.
something I've dreamt of, and it was fulfilled. It was
Oh.
amazing. And Jenna was so-called fashionably late,
Oh,
so
okay.
we all ended
Now,
up being in a group photo together, minus Jenna.
that's cool. Now we've seen or speaking of your blonde hair that you were just mentioning, on the show we see your mom call in and was like questioning you about your hair.
Oh
Was she
yeah.
was she really concerned about your blonde hair? Or was that just something that happened?
She like hates the fact that I would ever dye my hair and the fact that that I dyed it to blonde. She was just like, you look horrible. Like no, blonde is not you. Like
Oh,
she just the poor thing. She's like, I can't believe it. It doesn't even look like you. And to be honest, I hated the blonde hair. Like I watched the show and I cringe. I'm like, that is gross.
aw. I didn't think it looked that bad, to be honest. I mean, you can tell it's not your natural color, but I don't think
Yeah, I definitely don't like
it.
it.
Aw, well now you'll know. Don't do it again.
Yes.
Um, so everyone wants to know, since we're speaking about your music, where can everyone get your music? Where can they find it at?
So you can find it on iTunes, Sabrina Kennedy. You can also find it on SoundCloud, Sabrina Kennedy. And I also have a music page, facebook.com/Sabrina Kennedy Music, where I post
Awesome.
about shows and tours, and I post a lot of my photos on there. Or you can get me, obviously follow me on all my social media accounts, which I believe you have.
Yep, they're all
And
listed below in
yeah,
the
so
details.
SoundCloud is my biggest traffic. Please go to SoundCloud
Okay.
and listen to my songs, and also go to iTunes and buy the song if you're willing to do that.
Awesome.
And
I mean,
Spotify. Don't forget
oh,
Spotify.
and Spotify. Very cool. Now, since you're doing music, have you done any touring or shows or anything like that, or are you waiting till you get all your songs released?
We're trying to do a summer tour. So
Okay.
that's the first step. We're going to try and do a summer tour.
Very cool. That would be really cool. Are you coming this way? Where are you going?
I will probably do East Coast.
Oh, okay.
East Coast. Yes.
Awesome.
Get my following up there and then head west.
There you go. Yeah, I think it's easier to do. Well, because yeah, East Coast I feel like would be easier just to start with. That's cool. Um, so any last minute thoughts about your music, about the real world to your fans? Anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on?
I just wanted to say thank you for all the support to my fans. I mean, I love interacting with them, so please go follow me on social media. I love your feedback. I love your interactions. Positivity only. And I just want to say thank you, and please go listen to my music because the more people that listen, the more I can get it out there, and we can start doing some big tours, people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Speaking of positivity, have you had any negative remarks, really, like from social media? I feel like you're so likable. I don't think anyone could say too much negative.
I am very likable, but I've also gotten
Yeah.
that I look like a man. So I've
Really?
gotten that one. I've gotten that a couple times. I'm very much a female. I've gotten, are you transgender? No, I was born female. I am a female. Yes, I don't pay attention to it, and I also advocate for female empowerment and owning your body and loving your body. And
Yeah.
to hear that is just, why would you say that to me? You don't know me. Like, I don't like to listen to it, and I try not to look at it. It's just random people like, Sabrina looks like a man. Oh, okay.
So that's just trolls.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback to society.
Yeah, that's when you're like, hey, I appreciate that you're taking your time to say things about me, whether it's good or bad, because that means you're taking your time
To
to
talk
focus
about
on
it.
me. Yeah.
Yeah, I kill them with kindness. I kill
There you
everyone.
go. That's the way to be. So everyone, if you want to check out all of Sabrina's links, they are below in the details of this video. So please go follow her, like her, tweet her, all of the above, and please buy her music. Because if you don't buy the music, then she can't continue to make it.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for stopping by today.
Thank you guys so much. It was so nice to meet all of you.
All right.